key points around relationships is they are based on love and trust. So Srila Prabhupada used these two terms. One is they should be love, and second is trust between the devotees. And also the point that he made is devotional service means loving devotional service. Just speaking. So loving devotional service is what we need to practice. Devotional service is good, but does it have the loving component? That is the key point that we have to emphasize. And in the circle of devotees, we are practicing what's known as loving exchanges. Loving exchanges between devotees. So what are the 6 different kinds of loving exchanges? Giving gifts, receiving gifts. Revealing your mind and in confidence and receiving the revelation that they are giving about themselves. So there are certain principles that we need to follow amongst devotees. This is covered by Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita, which is called Nectar of Instruction. Yeah, the English translation by Prabhupada. Because of Prabhupada, we are able to read these books and understand what was said by all the acharyas prior to us. So these 6 loving exchanges. Give prasadam, receive prasadam. So that makes it total 6. Bhungte bhoje chaiva, like that. So you eat prasadam from others, but you also give. You reveal your heart, you receive the other devotees' expression of what they are going through in their heart. You give them gifts, you receive gifts. So in order to pursue the loving devotional exchanges, we need to invest time. Nothing is free. Nothing is free in the world. So we have to invest time to culture these relationships, and it may take a good amount of time before this loving exchanges actually happen. And the best way to develop those relationships is to begin by appreciation. We need to appreciate what they are saying, appreciate their services, how they are interacting with each other, appreciate everything about a devotee. That builds a bond between us and the other devotee. And also appreciate the specific qualities that you have observed in them. Prabhuji, I like how you received guests today. I appreciate how you shared your realizations. Right? In the Christian tradition, it's called testimony. I was like this before I came, and then these are the processes that went through my mind in the course of this devotional life, and this is where I am today. Right? That's a testimony, but that's also a loving reciprocation of their feelings on how they have benefited from this spiritual life. So we are doing the 6 loving exchanges, and then we are appreciating the devotees. Prabhuji, you have done such a good job today on Nagar Sankirtan. Somebody may be distributing 50 books, but if this person distributed 2, is worthy of appreciation, because eventually he may distribute 100, 20 years down the road. That appreciation will build that bond between us and the other devotee. So, as we are building these relationships, our confidence level will increase. First is find a devotee to reciprocate. Second is perform these 6 loving exchanges. Then show appreciation for what the devotees are doing, right? It doesn't have to be something mountainous. It could be something small, but when you show appreciation, that person now has a very positive feeling about your contributions to devotion. Typically, if you read Stephen Covey's books or if you look at some material way of reciprocation, that's all about what's in it for me, right? What will I get out of this interaction? What will I benefit from this interaction? But the spiritual reciprocation is different. I want this devotee to be better. It doesn't matter if he becomes better than me, right? I want this particular devotee to be better. So you are investing in that relationship for betterment of others. Because if he becomes better, then everybody becomes better, right? The definition of synergy is greater than sum of all the parts. So everybody comes together and everybody becomes better. So steps are relationships based on love and trust. Practice the 6 principles of loving exchanges. Revealing your mind, receiving that revelation of their mind, giving prasadam, taking prasadam, giving gifts, taking gifts, ityadi. And step 4 is appreciating the other devotees' contributions. So typically from our materialistic perspective, we tend to get into mode of passion and start competing with the neighboring devotee. It happens. It happened to me too. We have to overcome that feeling of how I can be superior. Competing for services, competing for so many things. Oh, this devotee is staying closer to temple and I am far away. Or this devotee has got more visible services in the front desk and I have to wash pots in the back end. Right? Because from a materialistic perspective, the devotee who is in the front end wearing nice clothes and receiving guests is sometimes perceived as being superior. Like I know one devotee was mentioning in Bombay, one of the newer brahmacharis said, "Aap to America jaate ho, hum idhar bartan manj rahe hain." Like, I am washing dishes in the temple. You are going to America to preach. That tendency is there. So by doing these things, step 5, gradually you will find greater strength in being able to confide your weaknesses. Right? First you are promoting your strengths. Later you are able to accept your weaknesses. I went through this journey too, consciously or unconsciously. When you are ready to confide that I am struggling in my devotion life, these are the problems I am facing, I am unable to do it, because nobody can do it fully. Like if you read Prabhupada's books, there are so many instructions, and to do all of them by any one individual is very difficult. So you may do some, I may do some. So synergy is we team up together and both serve Krishna. Right? Like the Prabhu is like distributing books there in the bookstore. So you may not be able to do what he is doing, right? Managing the bookstore. But you may be able to do something downstairs in the kitchen very well. So every individual soul has something unique to offer to Krishna. In the entire universe, nobody else can offer it better to Krishna than that individual soul for that particular seva. Not everybody is capable in doing everything, but some people are very good at one or two things. That is your key strength. So then when you are good at something and this other devotee is good at something, and when you come together, you are able to do big festivals like Ananda Mela, right? Bellevue Color Festival, this festival, Veg Fest, that festival. Individually, none of us is capable of pulling it off. But how are we able to do it? Because everybody brings their strengths. So initially tendency is to compete with each other, but later on it becomes subdued, and then later on you realize that cooperation is much better, right? in order for some people to go on Sankirtan, somebody should be cooking in the kitchen. Then they can carry those burritos to give out, and then for them also to eat along the way and so on. Honor the prasadam like that. And we derive solace and strength from each other's failures, right? Normally in office, everybody wants to prove themselves to be successful. Here, you are actually celebrating failure. I'm so struggling, Prabhu, with this problem. Every day I come 10 minutes late to Mangalarti because of traffic or whatever, right? Or I didn't find my shoes one day, or whatever the case might be, something or the other, some silly reason. So when you confide, then you get help from the other devotee to step up. And friendship should be centered around Guru and Krishna. Normal friendship is what? Around like-minded individuals for a business outcome, right? So all IT walas will congregate, all medical professionals will congregate, all legal people will be talking to only lawyers because they find comfortable, right? Birds of the same feather flock together, as the saying goes. But if you change that allegiance or loyalty to Guru and Krishna, then everybody is working for Krishna. And the key point to note is we are not working just for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, this lifetime. Once you come into Krishna's family, you are working for Krishna life after life, not just this life, next life, following life, following life. So if you don't like somebody, better start liking them, because this journey is going to happen life after life. It's not just for this lifetime. It's going to happen for a number of lifetimes. So better realize, I have to be with this Prabhu for the next X number of lifetimes. What if the other person is frustrating? He's frustrating? We'll come to that. That is the topic of this class. We'll definitely come to that. If I don't, please remind me. So friendship should be centered around Krishna. Krishna himself did this. Krishna and Sudama were cooperating under the guidance of their spiritual master. Right? Krishna also went to school. He doesn't have to go to school, but he just to Yadyade Acharati Shreshtas. In order to show the world that everybody needs a guru, he himself went to an Acharya. Krishna and Balram went, and Sudama was their classmate. Krishna and Sudama cooperated so that their spiritual master can be happy in his seva to Krishna. So we get judgmental very soon. So why do we get judgmental? All the time, yeah. Everybody. I go through it every day. Because of expectations. Oh, now we are seeing so many devotees. See, that devotee is working so hard, but this devotee is not working so hard. Which means you have started getting into that mode of passion comparison between the two devotees. Yes? Mode of passion. So, this is the matrix that we have to think about. Goodness, passion, ignorance. Your goodness, passion, ignorance. The other devotees, goodness, passion and ignorance. Are they matching like this? Maybe not. When you are in goodness, the other person may be in ignorance. When you are in ignorance, the other person may be in goodness or in passion. So that's where conflict starts. It is a given. Not everybody is on the same level. So when you say somebody is frustrating, means their demeanor or their attitude or the default action mechanism is in the mode of passion perhaps. And you are expecting goodness from that party. But this is not a perfect match. Maybe you rose to goodness, but the other party is in passion. So there is no clear wavelength there. There is a breakage there. And this will happen throughout our lives. sometimes we may be frustrating to somebody, right? Because I'm operating in passion. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go to Nagar Sankirtan. Get in. Why are you late? Half an hour, blah, blah, blah. And the other person is saying, Prabhu, I had to take care of my husband or wife or whatever the case might be. So sorry for being late, but we have to go now. The person was also in some situation like that. So at that point, we become frustrating to them because we are displaying passion and they are just trying to understand what this whole thing is about. Why should I even do it? Right? So that mismatch is bound to occur. So therefore, the advice given is we should give the benefit of doubt to the other party. And if we are continuing to be in mode of passion, we won't do that. We say, my way or the highway, or let that devotee, I'm raising him, Prabhu, I'm training him right now. That's how we will feel. But then you have to realize, tomorrow the equation can switch. We may be on the receiving end because we made some other mistake in some other service. I'm only talking about devotional activities. Huh? You can translate this to your work environment provided both parties understand the dynamics. If they don't, they'll think you are crazy or you are being non-cooperative. Right? If the framework is the same, then you can relate to each other. If you're taking this frame of reference and trying to map with this frame of reference, the measurements are different. If the measurements are different, then party A won't understand party B, what they are trying to say. So there is no communication period at that point. So humility and openness, right? Open to learn, open to understand the other point of view. All of this is captured in the material modern life using the term empathy, right? They say you have to empathize with that person. You have to put yourself in their shoes. All these things are given, right? That all has this basis in Vaishnava devotional relationships. People who display better empathy, you see them do better at work, climbing the ladder in corporations. Empathy doesn't mean that they agree with everything that you say. It's just that they are giving you a benefit of doubt. Maybe because he comes from this background, this is how he's going to operate, and I need to adjust with him. So, tolerance is also a practice. Tolerance doesn't come on day one. It doesn't come. Tolerance also is mentioned in Upadeshamrita. Utsaha nishaya dharyat, right? One of them is tolerance. Enthusiasm should be there, tolerance should also be there. And we have to practice forgiveness. When we practice forgiveness, relationships will go through the roof. They'll climb very fast. So forgiveness is a big topic. Big topic. And why do we have to forgive? Why should we even forgive? Somebody made a mistake and they hurted us. Why should we forgive? No, we give them the other chance, but why should we even do it? That is also there, but why should we do it? Okay, it's natural, but why should I step down? Yeah, for future outcomes, to prevent future negative outcomes. But most importantly, it is pleasing to Guru and Krishna. When devotees cooperate with each other, it is pleasing to Guru and Krishna. Because we are all in his family, Achyuta Gotra family, Krishna's family. Everybody is there. Right now, some people are unwilling or unable to accept that. So they find their own little cocoon and then they sit in that cocoon. But ultimately, if not now, after 10,000 lifetimes, you have to surrender to Krishna and you have to go back. There's no question of if or but. Right? So doing it pleases Krishna, and that's why we do it. How do we know it pleases Krishna? His instructions. His instructions. So many instructions, not one or two. The whole of Bhagavad Gita, other than chapter 1, is his instructions. Yeah. There are the shlokas, there is the meaning, but how do we relate it to our daily life is more important. Otherwise, we'll become like parrots. Manmanavo madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Parrot can also say that, maybe better in a sweeter voice. saying the verse is not important. Understanding the principle and applying it in the daily life. Right? So we talked about expressing our difficulties with other devotees. That's very important. We should open up. Like recently I called Prabhu here, Rakesh Prabhu. So Sukirti Krishna Prabhu. Right? Sukirti Krishna? Yeah, Sukirti Krishna Prabhu. So my memory is not that great. Right? And we talked openly. This is my problem, that is my problem, like that. We have to talk. Otherwise, there is no relationship. It becomes very shallow. Then giving the benefit of doubt. That's step 2. Right? Step 3 is having that humble and open mood. Openness to receiving the other person's point of view. I was saying before you arrived, all of this knowledge is captured in one word in the modern world, in the term empathy. Right? But their empathy is more to raise the stock price of a company and somehow get the job done. But real empathy, spiritual empathy is what? I want this other devotee to rise, not me. In material world, empathy, especially in corporations, is how can I rise? By displaying empathy to this other party. That spiritual life means, how can I help this other person rise? Actually, by end of this today's session, you will see that how we are trained in the material world is very topsy-turvy. It's upside down actually. It's upside down. Then you practice tolerance, that is step 4. And step 5 is practice forgiveness. That one thing, forgiveness, will make your relationship with anybody very well. Right? Like when I first came to the temple, Harulas Maharaj gave me some khichdi to cook. And I wasn't stirring it properly. Half the vessel below got burnt. So he started all over again. I mean, he could have yelled at me, but he didn't. We may all make mistakes. It's not possible. Actually, first of all, we have no idea of what cooking is. And secondly, absolutely no idea of what cooking for Krishna is. So everybody has to be trained. And when you are training somebody, there's a high probability we'll all make mistakes. So forgiveness is one thing that is super important, so that while we are training, we are not burning that person out. Otherwise, there will be burnout and the person may leave. In some person is doing some mistake. That hurts other person. So the other person should say the truth. Yeah, that is the topic of this discussion, right? We talked about how other person made mistake. You are evaluating that person in mode of passion. Goodness, passion, ignorance doesn't have to match exactly. You may be in passion and the other person may be in ignorance. So even though you are trying to instruct him, it's not going. It's not relating. That's where forgiveness comes. Forgive once, forgive twice, forgive thrice. Seek superior help, management help, senior devotee help. Because you're repeatedly saying to that person may not gel very well. But somebody superior saying may gel. And it's a lifetime progress. Srila Prabhupada said that we are all in a mental hospital. We are all crazy. So we have to become uncrazy. In order to become uncrazy, it takes an entire lifetime. And your craziness may be different than my craziness. See the point? So you may think I am crazy, I may think you are crazy, but both of us are crazy. In different ways. right? Because your frame of reference is different, my frame of reference is different. And your trajectory, life after life, is different, my trajectory is different. Somehow or the other, we both happen to just align. 2024, February 6th, we are all in one room. How do you expect both of us to agree with each other without this training? So that's where tolerance and forgiveness come in. Yeah, we'll come to that point. Hold on to that thought. Krishna is very pleased with those who are forgiving. So, in material world, you cannot forgive somebody or you cannot gel very well. You quit the job and go. You don't like Microsoft, you go Facebook. You don't like Facebook, you go Google. Or you don't like that, you go Boeing till the bolts fall off from Alaska Airlines. And then you say, Hare Baba, things are not working out here. Then you go to Europe and join Airbus or something like that. But in spiritual world, where are you going to go? Everywhere you go, it is still Krishna's rules apply. So you have no chance. You still have to comply. Better comply fast. Right? One of my colleague on her laptop, she put a sticker. It says, beatings will continue till you comply. Right? The beatings are what in the material world? No promotion, no raise. And once you start behaving, then again all these things will come. They will notice and they'll give you a raise and a promotion, hopefully, like that. Same thing here. Our attitude is more important than anything. So, it is a given that you cannot cooperate with other. But because it's pleasing to Krishna, we have to cooperate with each other and with management. And we have a very complex system in ISKCON, right? Somebody is lower than you, you have to give them advice. Somebody who is your peer, you have to be friendly. Somebody who is superior to you, you have to take advice and give them extreme respect. And if somebody is an atheist, you simply ignore. You don't fight with them, simply ignore. And if that person is still interested in becoming a devotee, they will change their mindset and come to a certain level of understanding. So as I said, this is a mental hospital, so it will take an entire lifetime. It's not going to happen immediately. Not going to. Don't be under that notion that suddenly, because I'm chanting 16 rounds, some magic will happen. Magic is happening internally, slowly. The layers on the soul are getting melted little by little by little. But it's going to take an entire lifetime or few lifetimes. Consider the example of Srivas Thakur, right? So one envious Brahmana, what he did, he said, oh, Srivas is worshipping Durga Devi. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned. So, he created a false story about that person. But Srivas Thakur didn't say, no, this is not true, and he didn't go on fighting. He said, yes, I am such a fallen soul. I am actually a Durga worshipper. So then you took away all the defenses of that other party, right? The other party tried to trouble you. But you said, actually it is true. I am such a foreign person, I am such a bad person, I am a rascal, like that. And the other person doesn't have anything to fight now. Right? In judo there is one technique. Of course there is offense, but also defense. Somebody sitting, you just go away. And the fellow cannot hit you. The fellow will be frustrated. And you win. I mean, not continuously not fighting, but that's one of the posture. Similarly, when Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, did he complain? He didn't complain. What's so great about him? Why did he not complain? Tolerance, yeah, and forgiveness. Marketplace 1, forgiven. Marketplace 2, forgiven. Marketplace 3, forgiven. 22 marketplaces. Can we do that? Maybe by the third marketplace you say, oh, kya samajhta hai tu? Pat. You start hitting back, right? That's what happening in Gaza Strip and Israel. Since my childhood, they have been fighting. I was born in 68 and 67. I think they got Israel, right? Since I was age of 5, in radio they used to say, rockets have been fired, gunshots, 4 people killed, 3 people killed. One day news is 3 people in this side died. Next day news is 2 people on that side died. Like that. It's been happening. In 2099 and 2000, I was telling my boss, what is this? These people are fighting with each other. He said, unless one side completely kills the other side, this fight will not stop. And 2024, 2000 to 24 years later, still same story. Isn't it true? Because the minimum party A is willing to accept is more than the maximum party B is willing to tolerate or concede. So if your minimum is still higher than the maximum the other party is going to give, what is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. And this will continue. Third World War will come and it will also stop, and this will still continue. Indo-Pak, Gaza, Israel, certain things will always keep on continuing. Because that training and that knowledge is not there. But we have to follow that training because we are in a different path. We are in a higher path, higher taste. The devotee tolerates dualities. What is duality? Distress. Sita Ushna Sukha Dukkada Agama Payano Nityas Tam Stitisva Bharata. Right? We all know this. We are very good at memorizing shlokas. But next day, you are in team 1 and the team 2 doesn't deliver. All shloka outside the window. What, you want me to escalate to BP? Kya samajhta hai? Like that, right? So there is the principle and then there is the practice. When the practice comes to the level of principle, then magical things happen. No, that context is different. Yeah, we already talked about it. Yeah, that frame is different. This frame is different. So in this frame, you barely survive, the material frame. And in the spiritual frame, you have to better yourself every day. You cannot take this principle there because the frames are different. It may not apply. But if you consistently apply it with shrewdness and tact, then people will notice. People will notice. The key thing about a devotee is our activities. Come closer, have a seat here. It's not doing of a particular individual, but by Krishna himself. So Krishna is doing this activity for my own purification. Whether it's getting laid off at Microsoft or getting fired from Amazon or premature retirement at Boeing, all this is Krishna's mercy. Because he has some other plan. You have a plan and he has a plan. We think Krishna should follow our plan. That is the biggest mistake we make. But he has the vision of past, present and future. And you don't. I mean, you know what happened in the past. You know you are somehow surviving in the present, but you don't know what future holds. Therefore, our estimation is usually wrong in whatever we do. Usually wrong. So Krishna has arranged this for my purification should be our attitude. Can we do that though? Very tough. But that is Krishna's standard. Yeah, surrender to Krishna will come much later. Surrender to Guru's instructions itself we struggle with. Right? Guru says do X. You say, Gurudev, I'll do X minus 2. Why? I'm not ready really, like that. Most of us are like X minus 2, X minus 4, X minus 7, X minus 25, X minus 2043. we rarely come to the standard what is required by our gurus. Rarely. But then he's showing tolerance. Okay. There is still, maybe in the next decade or the next 2 decades he will improve, like that. They show tolerance. Same thing we should show tolerance to the people who are washing dishes next to us or in Sankirtan or whatever. Everybody is endowed with different skills. So you cannot say that everybody is on the same platform. No way. Every individual is unique. There are 8 billion individuals in this planet. Unique individuals on this planet. And Srila Prabhupada also taught us not to be angry at the instrument of our own karma. Our own karma will come in that form. You are to be slapped on February 5th, 2024. No matter what you do. You take a Emirates airline, accidentally the air hostess will slap you with the luggage cart. So whatever has to happen will happen. And if you say, okay, I will go somewhere very peaceful, like Lakshadweep or some place like that, something else will happen there. Some Vyako will get off a cruise ship and then he will trouble you there. So whatever has to happen will happen, this way or that way. So this is very key, right? Sometimes people they say, oh, I've given up everything, I'll join Brahmachari ashram. The biggest challenge is the neighboring Brahmachari. Because he also gave up everything and came. And they are not willing to tolerate even slight lack of standards in the neighboring Brahmachari. So if Mangalarti starts at 4:30 and somebody comes at 4:31, they'll start yelling. Not realizing that almost 8 billion of the people are waking up at 7 a.m. Right? This happens. Everything is under Krishna's supreme control. So maybe Krishna wanted this devotee to act with us in this particular way. We have to think it that way. Maybe Krishna is inducing this devotee to act in this way. Because what happens when you are excessively involved outside in parties and watching games and this and that, our karma will come in a different form. But if you are always spending time in the temple, then how was the karma administered to you? Via a devotee. There it is. And then you say, Arey, I surrendered everything, I'm working so hard for Krishna, and who is this new devotee coming and, what does he think he is? But Krishna had to find an instrument. So he happened to be in the same room at that point. So that karma will be administered in that manner. And you cannot question Krishna because this is his frame. You have to align to that frame of reference. That's it. And what is the purification and what is the lesson that Krishna wants me to learn from this incident? We all have to purify ourselves some point or the other. See, sometimes we think, right? Oh, I'm such a good preacher. I just talked to this Prabhu. Suddenly he started chanting 2 rounds. Now he's up to 16. So I must be Jagat Guru. But think about how many lifetimes he has gone through. Maybe one lifetime he opened a door for a pure devotee. Other lifetime he ate one prasadam rasgulla. Other lifetime he saw Jagannath on the Ratha Ghat. By the time he came to you, how many lifetimes has he gone through? So it's not like we are Jagat Gurus. It just so happened that we were in the same room at that point. Maybe you are the instrument to kind of convey to that soul that this is what you need to do, right? Like one of my students was saying, Prabhu, I met you in front of Mayuri, you gave me a book, now I am a devotee. But the fact that you took a book itself is something positive, which means that you had some inclination, right? And the fact that we have this beautiful building allowed you to become a devotee. What if we didn't have this? You would just be content with the book at your home. That's it. So the facility is there. Facility has been provided. The book has been provided. And what if after you come, we drive you away by talking nastily to you? It has happened, right? Some people don't like how some devotee talked and they leave. But that's not good either, right? Because that devotee is an instrument on that day for our own purification. In this way, if you take the mood, then we are improving day by day. But if we are always with our fists up, then we are not making improvement. That is how, because this is Krishna's frame, right? Not our frame. We didn't design this system. You participate in this system. You cannot fight with the system. If you fight, you'll be put in a jail. The jail could be single celled amoeba, or an antelope, or a gorilla. So the soul will be put down into a different life species. So we have to be careful in dealing with Krishna's system. When the Kali, this is Kali Yuga, right? The personality of Kali was troubling, please have a seat in the chair, was troubling the cow and the bull, dharma in the form of cow and bull. Did the cow and bull complain? They didn't complain. Their legs were being chopped off. They didn't complain. They were tolerant. Of course, our situation is not that bad. At least, maybe after 500 years it will be that bad. But right now, we live in a nice country with nice facilities and so on. But that could change, right? With so many people entering from the southern border, there is always a probability that some of them are pretty nasty people. So they can change the course of this country in a certain direction. Parikshit Maharaj himself didn't, like the cow and the bull didn't complain to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj himself didn't complain because the curse given to him by Shringi, was that a just curse? For not paying attention, cursing somebody to die in 7 days? It is not a just curse. For Shringi was puffed up, young blood. He said, okay, you insulted me. Actually, he did not even insult, but he felt like insulted, and then he gave a curse. But Parikshit Maharaj did not complain. Ambarish Maharaj, he had to break the fast because that muhurta was going away. But he didn't eat. He drank water, which is like breaking the fast and not breaking the fast at the same time. So by doing that, what did he get? Maharaj, or rather Maharshi Durvasa, took a hair from his head and then created a Rakshasa to kill Maharaj Ambarish. He still didn't complain. He was just standing there. And because he was so tolerant and patient, the Vishnu Chakra from the Lord's hands, understanding the mood of the Lord, not even ordered. The Vishnu Chakra was not ordered. Understanding the mood of Lord to protect his devotee, took off and went and finished that demon. And then it ran after Durvasa Muni. Right? Vishnu did not even ask the chakra to go. But understanding the mood of protection of a devotee, it did that. Draupadi forgave all, forgave who? Ashwatthama, who killed all of her sons. Is that typical? All of 5 sons were killed and she still was able to forgive. I mean, initially she didn't forgive, but later on she forgave Ashwatthama. So by meditating upon such pastimes and thinking of these great devotees, we can get strength. Luckily, our problems are not that magnified. Like, look at Ambarish Maharaj's problem. Shri Shri Radha Nil Madhav Bhagwan ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ji ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Bhakta Hanuman ji ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai, Lakshmi Narsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai, Acharya Parampara ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, our problems luckily are not on the same magnitude as Draupadi's problems. She went through hell. Ambarish's problems, he was almost killed. Right? Dharma in the form of cow and bull, that was a big problem. But they were tolerant. Parikshit Maharaj, to be killed in 7 days, being a king, and he was doing his kingly duty, and still it happened. So, by meditating on such pastimes, we'll get some courage and strength that we should also do that. I mean, worst comes to worst, what will happen? In most of the situations, the outcome is not that bad actually. It's mostly our imagination that something very bad has happened. They insulted me or something like that. No, it's not that bad. So, misunderstandings and friction in interactions are by themselves not bad. There will always be misunderstanding. Our, our backgrounds are different, our mode in which we are operating, goodness, passion, ignorance are different, and the other person may be operating in a different mode. So it is only natural that misunderstanding will happen. Friction will happen. There is friction in the world every time, right? Two branches are rubbing against each other and leaves are falling. There's friction between two branches of the same tree. Yeah, it is happening. How we react in such situation is more important. Things will always happen. How we react to it. Illegal immigrants are coming into the country, like that, right? Everybody's all getting excited. It's a situation that has happened. How you react to it is more important. As devotees, we should not think of utopian relationships. What is utopian relationship? Perfect. I say Dandavats, the person should say Dandavats. Because yesterday I served him prasad, he should serve me today. Right? We think like that. But there's nothing called utopia. It is going to be an imperfect world. It was imperfect yesterday, it will remain imperfect tomorrow. Because this is anyway, what is it? Urdhamula Madashakam. This is a perverse reflection of the spiritual world. Right? If you want perfectness, then go there. Why are you here? This is a perverted reflection. Here the waves are there, and therefore the reflection is very hazy. Right? I was reading this article where they said that generative AI is like a blurred JPG of the internet. Because it's not really conveying the information, somewhat. It's picking words from here, there. It's creating its own little reality. Like that. So, this material world is a blurred JPG of the spiritual world. JPG means JPEG. Yeah. So, because everybody is a servant or trying to be a servant of Krishna, we should cooperate with everybody. There's no two things about it. We are all servants of Krishna. We should cooperate with temple management. We should cooperate with the visiting sannyasis. We should cooperate with literally every devotee. Non-devotee is devotee in waiting. So you have to cooperate with them also. Cooperate doesn't mean that he will give you meat and you are going to eat meat. No, that's not cooperation. I'm saying in the context, on Krishna's frame of reference. Right? There's nothing called non-devotee. Right? Some people that we should respect everybody. Srila Prabhupada says in one purport, we should respect even an ant. Give one piece of sugar and give dandavats to the ant. They are also living entities. We are not at that level, but I'm saying we should respect everybody. Because everybody, like 2003, 2004, I used to think some people will not become devotees. They are become devotees right now. I'm saying Krishna's frame of reference. In other places, it may or may not work. Yeah, you forgive, but it may not work, I'm saying. Yeah. In his dealings with Duryodhan, wasn't Krishna very tactful? No, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says many things. It's a gradual elevation. Ultimately, you give up everything. But we are not at that level, right? So, first we do karma, yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. Then we come to bhakti yoga, right? That's the ladder, the yoga ladder. Yeah, yeah. I'm coming to that. Forgive everyone. Actually, the recommendation is if somebody hurt you, you should bless them and you should pray for them. If you are able to do that, then you have achieved a new level. Yeah, forgive everyone actually. Why only forgive a few people? Right? So we should actually, Mahatma Prabhu, who gives forgiveness seminars across North America, he says if somebody has hurt you, you actually bless them. Why? To elevate them. Because this particular soul is acting in confusion. So bless them and pray for them so that they elevate themselves. Our immediate reaction is to curse them. Maybe you should get into an accident. Maybe you should be this. Maybe you should be that. Our immediate reaction is like that. That's mode of passion reaction. But then we have to hold ourselves. This is how I'm thinking. No. Let me pray for him. Pray for that individual soul. It's difficult. But if you are able to do that, then you have achieved a new level. Remember, it pleases Krishna. That's it. Why do you have to do it? Because it pleases Krishna, Guru and Krishna. That's it. We are all limbs of the same tree, right? Part and parcel. So how can you compete or not forgive the other part? Yeah. So there are spiritual ethics and there are material ethics and there are lack of ethics and there are so many things in between. Ethics is, in the modern world, ethics is, if I am powerful, you listen to me. Managers usually are unethical because their managers are also unethical. Okay. Should the manager forgive if the employee complained? Why not? Why? Huh? See, there are material ethical principles, but there are spiritual principles which are higher. So as we progress, we give up the lower principle and go to the higher principle. Even in your office, there are many principles at different levels, right? So you give up the local principle and you elevate yourself to the higher principle. See, Hinduism has so many things you should do. But when you come to Krishna consciousness, having adopted a higher principle, you don't have to do many of those things. It's no longer necessary to do those principles, provided you have taken a higher shelter. Right? If you come to the point of renunciation, like success is guaranteed at that point anyways, then you don't have to do basic things like, hey, I have to give charity so much in this place or that place. It may not be necessary anymore. At that point, your goal is to preach the glories of Krishna to the broader world. Have to open a temple as opposed to giving charity. I mean, everybody is supposed to give charity, but there the charitable principle is very different. So when you take shelter, like His Holiness Rompaz Maharaj says, when you take shelter of a higher principle, it's okay to give up the lower principle. It's okay, perfectly okay. Because everybody is a servant of Krishna and you are cooperating them, forgiving them, tolerating them, there's nothing wrong. Some devotees are inherently more dominating than other devotees. Maybe they are in the mode of passion, maybe they were some king in one of their past lives. They are inherently more dominating. You cannot avoid it. But within your devotional service, you just tolerate it. You don't forgive offenses against Guru and Krishna. That's definitely not. Yeah. So that. Oh, Manusmriti says you have to punish that person for his own good. Yeah, capital punishment. Kill that person so that he doesn't die in the future lifetime. Because he has killed somebody, kill in this lifetime itself, so that next lifetime will start with a clean slate. Yeah. The social order is different than forgiving. Social order is required because there are always going to be some people who will violate the frame of reference. For them, there we are not saying forgiving such a person is actually bad. See the point? We are talking about certain level of offenses amongst devotees. And to a certain degree extend that to the non-devotee community. For small offenses, we should not hang on to it. That's what is being said. What in chapter 1 itself, Prabhupada says, right? 5 types of people can be killed. Who are they? Who sets fire to your home, attacks you with violent weapons, steals your wife or women in the household, right? If devotee is breaking the ethics, then you bring it to the authorities' attention so that they can be disciplined in the proper hierarchy. Hmm? See the point? And even then, the hierarchy may not act on your complaint because they may be seeing something different. Maybe this person will improve over a period of time. They'll gauge the situation. And if they find that this person is not going to improve, such person may be kicked out of ISKCON. I have seen people being kicked out, never to again. In this temple, some people were misbehaving and they have been asked not to re-enter the temple again. Out. Because they are doing themselves a disservice. They are continuing to do more aparadh. First step is counseling, right? After, as it is. What is that? Sama Bheda Dandopayam, right? So, Danda will come in the last. It's not like Danda is the first step. First you advise, then you counsel deeply, then you threaten them with some punishment. None of that works, out. Because that is good for them in that context. If they continue to make aparadha, then it is actually bad for them. So when something doesn't work between you and some other devotee, take that as an opportunity to deepen your relationship with each other. Oh, now let me figure out how to improve my relationship with this devotee. Right? We all have differences of opinion. That is the nature of the material world. What are you going to do? So, when we forgive, there should not be any resentment. Initially, there will be some resentment, some residual. Slowly, that should taper off. I mean, it took me a long time to forgive some people. It took me 10 years to forgive somebody. Right? Okay, so now a little exercise. On your phones or in your notebook, write down the list of 5 people that hurt you. And if you can't find a list, which is very good, you have forgiven everybody. Anywhere. Anywhere. Yeah. If I say anywhere, suddenly the list has gone to 5,000. Huh? We need more papers. Huh? No, anywhere. Anywhere is fine. Yeah. I was just joking that no list has grown. This is called the hurt list. Who has hurt you? Hmm? You don't have list? No, think carefully. There will be something subconscious. So next time you should teach this class then. Teach among Matajis. You know? Okay, your list is ready? You don't have any list. So you're already an Acharya or Avaduta right now. Actually, if you don't have disagreements with anybody, it means that you are not trying to deepen your relationship. It's at a superficial level, touch and go, drive by relationship. As soon as you start engaging in that relationship with anybody, as a friend, as a son or a father, then the disagreements will surface. Right? Okay, now pick the top person on your list and write down how he has hurt you or she has hurt you. Write down, write down. It could be 1 line, 2 lines, whatever. Writing actually is better than just thinking, because in writing you are forced to condense your thoughts. Condense your thoughts. Okay. Now write down 3 things that you learned today in the last half an hour that can deepen, that you will implement to deepen your relationship with this individual. Just 3 things. Remember the points I was mentioning earlier? Out of that, 3 things that you'll use. Now write down 3 qualities of that individual which are praiseworthy. Your enemy number 1, right? The hurt number 1. Write down 3 qualities that are praiseworthy in that particular individual. So your first 3 points are external behavior of that individual. The next 3 points are their internal behavior, right? As manifested by those 3 good qualities. So which of the 3 will you focus on? Yeah, their intrinsic qualities. What are their intrinsic quality? The number 1 quality is they have tried to improve themselves by coming into ISKCON. Right? Because if you think you are not crazy, you won't even come to ISKCON. You will say, okay, I know everything, I'll run the world, which is about 8 billion people outside. But if you think that I want to improve myself, then you come in. Right? So which of these 3 qualities or all 3 qualities of this individual are praiseworthy? Right? So now you know that this person is more valuable than you thought before. Forget the external. Externally you may say, hey, what are you doing? Or, no, this is not how you do it. When you come on Sankirtan, this is exactly how you should do it. You should follow my lead. But you see, these 3 intrinsic qualities that this person has are what I should focus on. Not only looking, but trying to see how those 3 qualities can improve your relationship with that person. Focusing on those 3 qualities. Yeah. So that is your list. His list may be different, but your points are very valid. I'm not asking you to kind of reveal all of your points on the list. You know what qualities this person has who has hurt you, right? Now, for the sake of those 3 qualities, you should praise that person. He is praiseworthy, she is praiseworthy. And focus on those in your relationship with that person. Ignore these external material qualities. It is difficult, but if you can focus on that. So Srila Prabhupada used to take something very small from a person. Right? Somebody said, oh, this falana devotee didn't do this activity. But Prabhupada would say, look, he did this activity. And he would amplify that. Pick some small quality and amplify it. Such a great devotee he is. Right? So when we amplify that quality, now you have become forgiving and you have become higher. Now your stature has grown. Your stature has not come down because you praise this other person. Your stature has actually grown. Right? If you see, not the normal politicians who are there for power, money or something, but if you see great statesmen, that's what they do. They take something small and then they just amplify it. Right? And then you'll become more popular actually. You'll become more popular. Yeah. It becomes a little bit difficult, but still, certain things, certain people will not change throughout their lifetime. But by amplifying their positive qualities and focusing your relationship on those aspects, they are growing, you are growing, and then in the next lifetime that will continue. You have acknowledged their positive qualities, they cannot hurt you more. Yeah. They will be careful in hurting you in the future. No, they will go away if they are also consciously trying. If they don't try, then like you can take the horse to the water, cannot make it drink.
But is there anything that we can do at all, like being a family member to help them?
You are already helping them, right? By
Getting rid of those negative qualities.
but you may not be capable of getting rid of this. You have to refer them to higher authorities who is more capable, right? See, first you go to MBBS doctor, then you go to MD doctor, then you go to FRCS doctor, super specialist. Why? Because the person at this level was not able to basically cure that other individual. See the point? Bringing them to lectures. You can. There's so many ways. Like different people have tried this, right? In my own family, there was one Mataji who was like totally not agreeing to what we were saying. So I tried, and then somehow or the other, she got connected to somebody in Hyderabad. That person said, okay, we are going on Vrindavan Yatra. So everybody come. So they said, oh, 10,000 rupees is a lot of money for us. We cannot come to Vrindavan. He said, try somehow. They made the money. They went to Vrindavan. And now that lady chants Hare Krishna. So you may not be able to preach, but somebody else may come from him. Right? In football, the ball is not always going straight. Sometimes it goes right, then it comes to left. Then from a corner you put the goal. So you never know which angle you will work. Yeah, again, same points that we discussed. Tolerance, patience, utsaha, nisya, enthusiasm, dhairyat, right? All three points. The same points that Rupa Goswami said 550 years ago in a small book called Nectar of Instruction are relevant, eternally relevant. Right? So, see, sometimes we say, oh Prabhu, which canto you are in Srimad Bhagavatam? I am on 6th. Oh, you are only on 6th, I am on 8th. But have you read this small books called Nectar of Instruction? That has the whole philosophy. The instruction is there. What you should do. Right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave only 8 principles that we recite in the morning, right? Cheto darpanam arjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitarnam vidyavadu jivanam, right? So only 8 principles he gave. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. That's where most of us are flops. We say dhanam, janam, sundarim, Kavitamba Jagadisa Kamaye. Hey Krishna, kya ho raha hai? Dhanam, I want Tesla, dhan, and I want promotion, I want more stock in Microsoft, like that, right? Or Amazon or wherever. we fail there. We fail there actually. It's in our intrinsic nature from millions of lifetimes that we want dhanam. Why? Dhanam, money is honey. Dhanam gives so many other abilities to buy expensive toys in this world. But in the end, that toy will break down and we'll go to hell. Right? So we have to be very careful with these things. It works everywhere. I have seen people who crave less for money are more wealthy than people who crave for more money. How does that work? It's unexplainable. Krishna works in very mysterious ways actually. Right? Works in people who want promotion don't get promotion. Somebody else gets promoted. And they'll say, I worked so hard. I was working till 11 p.m. 5 days a week. Why am I not getting promoted? Krishna, this is very unfair. That Muslim guy got promoted, but I am not getting promoted. I am so much more advanced than, I don't eat meat, I chant your mantra, but it's not happening. Why? We challenge Krishna from time to time. Right? But promotion is a combination of so many factors. How well the company is doing. Does the boss like you? How is your karma? So many factors, right? So how can you demand anything? You cannot demand anything in life. So many things will happen. But in all these happenings, we have to understand tolerance and patience and forgiveness, because this is Krishna's desire. He wants me to cooperate with his neighboring devotee. I have to cooperate with everyone. It is not easy, but it's not difficult either. You can do it.
Prabhuji, will this work like if we amplify the qualities even in the material world?
Oh, thank you, bro. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I did not understand your question. It works every time. That's the whole principle of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Go read that book again. Or you don't have to read the book, just look in Wikipedia, summary is given. It works everywhere. The principle of tolerance, forgiveness, praising the other party. Don't you think if you praise your boss, he'll be happy? Of course. I mean, he knows that you are doing chamchagiri, but he will be happy. Right? It works there, it works here. Yeah. If somebody says, प्रभु जी आपका क्लास इतना अच्छा था, अरे मैं अभी जगत गुरु बनने वाला हूँ. Right? I mean, although that person is being nice and polite, doesn't mean all of a sudden you have achieved some great height or something. Ultimately, all of us are repeating what Prabhupada is saying, right? Ultimately, it's all coming down to that. So, in the exchange of this loving devotional service, like you are exchanging love, using those 6 principles, right, that Rupa Goswami gives, there should be no trace of resentment. And by patiently cultivating this deep confidence and desire to please Krishna, and by maintaining a spiritual vision, what will happen? You will develop respect for that soul, not the external characteristics of that body. You will develop respect for the soul, and then you will develop the respect for interdependence between us and the other soul. Because ultimately, if we are to believe Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 souls hanging from the Krishna tree as 2 leaves in 2 different branches. How can we fight with each other? I'm saying resentment will not go away automatically. We should focus, we should give the time and attention for the resentment to go away. Again, whoever has hurt you, they are instrument of Krishna for your own purification. So if you have that resentment go away, we are progressing. It's not about the world. We are progressing. We are coming closer to Krishna. Isn't that the goal? So what if immigrants are coming from southern border? So what if somebody is increasing taxes? Every day is a struggle in the material world. Every day. Do you mean to say Bezos and Gates don't have problems? Multi-billionaires? Like somebody asked this question to Rockefeller. Oh, Rockefeller, you're such a rich man. This was in the 40s. He said, no, I have a lot of problems. Every month I have to pay salary to 276,000 employees. Right? Cash flow problem. You may be rich, but is there cash every month to pay to employees? Right? That is the number one worry of any corporation. Can I pay my salaries and benefits and other, accounts payable? If you cannot, then reputation will go down. Your corporate will be ranked from AAA to BBB in Moody's rating, and then stock price will fall. So many cascading effect will happen. So don't think the rich people have less problems. They have more headaches. They have more headaches. So we need to revive the intrinsic quality in the other party as well as in ourselves. Then relationship will happen at the soul to soul level, not body to body level. Right? So there is the body to body level, there is the mind to mind level, there is the soul to soul level. If we can come to that level, then we have become Krishna conscious, right? Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. We know all this like parrots. But then we know that we are not the body, we are the soul, because I am operating on the soul level. Arey, that devotee is fat, this devotee is tall, this devotee is short, this devotee has mad temper. Because what are we glorifying? Those three negative qualities of the material. Instead of that, if you focus on the intrinsic qualities, then you say, wow, look at the devotee, such a nice quality. If this devotee has such a good quality, how many qualities does Krishna have? Right? He is the Raso Vaisahai. He has all the emotions in him, all the qualities in him. So then we become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, we are right now, just like when we are learning bicycle with training wheels, sometimes you are falling to left, sometimes you are falling to right. But we are not really taking the training wheels off and taking off. Right? You have all been using training wheels. I mean, I didn't have training wheels, so one of my uncle was holding my bike. He was running with me. Somehow the other man Asian. Finally, yes, I can do it. Now I can ride the bicycle. So we have to come to that. Okay, I'll stop there. Any questions? I've taken 5 more minutes than planned. Oh, anger management is a separate seminar in itself. Yeah. No, but management has said that I should complete this topic. So I'll stick to what has been planned. Maybe next time, maybe in April, I will do that. Tomorrow, continuation of the same topic. Right? Vaishnav etiquette, yeah. So this is just one part of Vaishnav etiquette. Krishna talks about 64 qualities, remember, in chapter 13? We have to develop all 64. One topic we are struggling. Anger management is one of them, right? There are so many other things. Huh? Yeah. I love that book. Obstacles in Devotional Service, right? Oh, okay. So this Prabhuji is saying Satsarup Goswami has written a book, and that's a beautiful book. It's called Obstacles to Devotional Service. Everybody should read that. Because these are all obstacles. Just like in Olympics, you have to cross hurdles, jump, like. We are not so great to do a long jump. You have to cross each hurdle that happens. And whenever you cross one hurdle, the next hurdle, Maya Devi will put at a higher level. Because she says, wow, I'm so impressed. Now jump on this one. And then you jump that one, then she'll put one more hurdle. That's her job. And she is very good at it. She is the wife of Lord Shiva, so she's very powerful. She's very good at it. So there is a difference between Hinduism and Krishna consciousness. Hinduism is following the principles. Krishna consciousness is living those principles. So, middle of the night I wake you up, you don't go into default mode. Your default mode is the principle. Living the Bhagavad Gita. Like my Guru Maharaj was saying, living the Bhagavad Gita on a farm or in a rural setting is easier than in an urban setting. Because urban setting, what happens? Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsarya is more prevalent. In the rural place, who are you going to get angry? The same trees, the same grass. Nobody is really complaining anything. If you don't give water, it will just it'll become little dry. You give water, it will become green. So everything is like pretty calm. Ah, yeah.
So with that definition, we are still not in actual Krishna.
No, we are not. Actually, His Holiness Mukundata Prabhu has said that this is the example from him using the training wheels. Right now, we are using training wheels. We are training our soul to get into that direction, into the groove. But we have not removed the training wheels. If we remove, we'll fall right now. Right? So that's where the support structure is there. Srila Prabhupada defines ISKCON as that support structure. It's the net, safety net. So you're trying to walk on the tightrope. If you fall, there is a safety net of ISKCON. Because somebody will come and correct you, or somebody will say, okay, it's okay, no problem, Prabhu, let's do it, something like that. If you try to do it alone, then you will fall the victim like Vishwamitra. So advanced, but still, of course, Menaka's beauty but material world women's beauty is very different. Menaka, Ramba, Urvasi, Menaka, they are in a different level. Right? So even Vishwamitra could not resist. But if you are in the association of devotees, right? Somebody will say, okay, kya ho raha hai? Why are you looking? I thought you were looking at Krishna, you're looking at that girl. What's going on, huh? In that sense, getting married is good because at least your wife will keep you in track. If you're not married, right, the option of falling down is higher. It's a lot higher, actually. Right? So that's why Grihastha is the safety zone. Brahmacharya means you have to be very strong, otherwise you can fall victim anytime. One of the brahmachari got married. Then I asked him, Prabhu, what happened? Re, what should I say? It's a big mistake, Prabhu. I was like, I mean, he was trying to go like this. Suddenly, he saw somebody who was beautiful in his vision, and he went in that direction. He got married. Now he has 2 kids. And then I said, how is Grihastha life? So difficult, Prabhu. Huh? No. Yeah, actually, no. Wife is an instrument of Krishna to rectify husband. Husband is an instrument of Krishna to rectify wife. Oh, that brahmachari, yeah. Yeah, he should take it that way. But it is very difficult, Like now, he was brahmachari, everything was taken care of. All he had to do was wake up in the morning, do Mangalarti, eat prasadam, go on book distribution, come home and sleep. And have a nice time with the fellow brahmacharis. Now, he has to earn. He's working in Home Depot as like carrying cartons and things like that. From where he came where, right? Yeah. Is it necessary to work in Home Depot? No, but that's what happened to him. I mean, at least, you are all very well qualified and educated and you have good jobs. But when you make $15 an hour, life is not easy, believe me. Most America is in debt all the time. Because what happens, one small thing, like the average savings, I was reading in newspaper about a year ago, for an average American, we are not talking about IT walas, negative, or actually it is about $800. So one emergency room visit costs $2,000. So all you need is one emergency room visit in the family to bankrupt them. So most of the people are like on the verge of bankruptcy. Of course, there are few people who have all this stock and billions and 4 houses, but that's in a minority. Any other question? I am rambling now. Their bank savings is $800. Their savings. So one ER visit will bankrupt them. Or the son will insist on iPhone, which is about $1,200. So 800 positive will become 400 negative, and interest will start accruing at 20% per annum. So perpetually in debt.
The minimum expectations from family in this culture is very high.
Oh, I mean, just looking at my own kids, right? The expectations are very high. We hardly expected anything. Father gave cycle, cycle. That's it. We didn't have any other. So that is another problem of being a grihastha in America. Right? It's better to be a grihastha in Mexico or some other place where cost of living is lower. But even that, this American disease, like I wrote my article on my LinkedIn, right? American dream has become the world's nightmare. Isn't it true? Think about it. Like, somebody was telling me in near Yadagiri Gutta. Now everybody wants a phone. iPhone in India is like 64,000 rupees. Here at least I can afford it because our level of income, relative to income, cost of there, that could be your quarter salary. If you make like 2.5 lakhs a year, that's like from January through March you earn to buy one silly little toy like this. Yeah. I mean, that is by design, right? They have this using reliability principles. They will make the circuit short circuit after an X amount of time. Because initially, like the radio that my grandfather bought is still working in Hyderabad at my home after 60 years. But why can't they make them like that? It is redundancy by design. By design, right? So welcome to the material world. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.